Oh, welcome everybody to our Book Boss Masterclass final session of 2025. And that's why I'm looking like a Christmas lunatic, and so is Amanda. So, yay, Amanda! I'm so excited that so many of you have joined me. This session is all about having a reset, and actually, this session on the replay is a very relevant session if you're feeling a bit stuck. Yeah, so it's not just a session for you if it's Christmas or if it's Q4. We're very much going to cover things that will get you unstuck and will get you motivated to move forwards. And I know a lot of people are a little bit stuck. And I think the thing that people are stuck on, or that I'm seeing that a lot of people are stuck on, is this idea of creating one or two books, and then I'm getting the impression that people are wanting to sell them, right? And you'll think, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with creating a few books and wanting to sell them? And the thing that I think is going wrong with some of our book boss students is creating a book and then going, all right, what should I post on social media? How do I get this book to sell? How can I get lots of sales for my book that I have created? And you would think that that was the right way to go about things. But the thing is, I've never done a social media module yet, and I say yet, it is on my list, in the Book Boss Academy, because I want you to get organic sales on the Amazon algorithm. That's the whole idea of what I'm teaching you all here in the Book Boss Academy. I don't want you to have to post on social media 3 times a day. And also, who is interested in seeing a social media post about an activity book or about a crime puzzle book? Or a puzzle book or a word search book? Like, if you saw that post on social media, would you give a damn about it? Probably not. Now, the colouring book industry is a little bit different in that there are colouring book fanatics out there. And if you can colour in a page a little bit differently or use a new technique, then that's going to go a little bit viral and you're going to get some recognition and some clicks. And so, I think the colouring book niche is a little bit different to maybe all of the other niches. Also, the same with like health books, apothecary, things that have got mass public appeal are great for social media. But what I'm seeing is some book boss students are creating a book and then going, right, I want to get sales now. And instead, we're going to talk about in today's masterclass what we could be doing instead of that. We want to build a business here. We want to build a business that is thriving. So the mindset, or what I'm teaching you to do, is to create a book that forms a part of a bigger picture. It's part of the bigger picture, right? So when you put that book onto Amazon, you may get no sales, especially if it's one of your first books. Our first books are our worst books for everybody, without any exception, myself included. And I've been graphic designing for 12 years. I had to learn, well, what works on Amazon? What is getting people to click? What are people buying? When we can create, I'm getting like 3, 4K a month, 10K this month with it being Christmas, 10K. I'm on track to pass 10K. In fact, I probably have if I log into it again today. That's because it's Christmas. All my sales have just gone absolutely crazy towards the end of last month and this month. But when you get to this level where you're getting the organic sales, I've got a lot of books that don't sell still. Then you can reinvest that money back into Amazon ads. You can reinvest that money back into getting somebody to do your social media for you. Because we can't spin all these plates where we create one book and then we focus on trying to market that book. In my opinion, we're then getting false sales, because if we are having to be the hamster on the hamster wheel and spin, spin, spin to get sales for one book, where's the future in that? Where's the business? Where's the long-term plan when we're trying to force sales on one book? right? But when that one book becomes two, becomes four, becomes eight, and they're part of an overall big picture that you've got in your mind and that you've planned, then you'll start to get books that make their own sales organically on Amazon. And then you'll start to realize what books are selling, what books are not selling, what books are people buying, what books are not people buying. And you'll make more of the books that people are buying. Then you make more sales, and then you've got that money to reinvest. Yes, it's going to take us 6 to 12 months of hard work to get to that point. But when we get to the point where we're able to reinvest and not spin those wheels and be the crazy hamster, then you've got a real business, you've got a real publishing business. And then you can go, I did it. I really did this. Because I think most of us can agree, and me being on, on social media for the last 12 years as a coach, I have been spinning a lot of hamster wheels and trying to do everything. We've all been trying to do everything. But I'm teaching you to do this in a way where you're just relaxing, having fun, enjoying it, publishing, getting organic sales, getting organic royalties, and it's part of a bigger picture. And then you're able to reinvest and grow this real entity, this real business. Right, I've got some slides to share. No worries, people are off camera, no problem. Let's have a look. Yeah, Lynn has decided to only post 3 in a series at a time after working with you. Yeah, such a great foundation for brand recognition. Yeah. Nora's done 5 for murder mystery. Brilliant. Yeah. Really glad I stopped to pack up, made me sit and rethink the strategy. Brilliant. So I've got some slides to show you. They're not Christmassy, they're more about growth. So I decided to go for green plants. I think Claudia and Emily will be pleased about that. So it's not a Christmassy theme, but I just want to go through it. It's very, very short, but hopefully it will turn your mindset into the right way of thinking instead of being on the struggle bus. And we tend to self-sabotage, don't we? And we tend, like sometimes our comfort zone or what we've known for the last 5 or 10 years is the struggle bus. If your comfort zone is being on the struggle bus, heads up, eyes open, be aware of that. My comfort zone is on that struggle bus. And when I say my comfort zone, I don't really want to be on that struggle bus, but because I'm used to it and I'm used to working hard and doing all the things, it is very difficult to change that paradigm and to shift out of that gear and to shift into really relaxing. Like imagine spending a week creating this lovely mindfulness coloring book and not having to spin any social media plates or marketing plates and just sitting there and just really relaxing and being in your creative element and creating something you're truly proud of. That forms part of that bigger picture. How much better is it to work like that than to work the way we've been doing? Try to do this, try to remember that. Oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need to do this. That's not a really great way of working, is it? That was a short interview, Claudia. Right, I'm going to share my screen. Just go through the quick little presentation I've got. Maybe I should have put myself there with my Christmas hat on, but never mind. This is about growth. This is about 2026. This is about doing things differently. Okay, so this is the 2026 Book Boss Blueprint, and this is a strategic reset for serious publishers. Today isn't about learning more, it is about deciding more. And we've got the Book Boss Academy, and really I set up the academy to be for serious book publishers, not necessarily for someone who wants to come in and just create one book and fly off. Because where's the business in that? Where's the future in that? Sure, somebody can come into the academy and do the training and learn how to publish one book, or even learn how to publish 3 books to be part of their business, or even 5. Maybe they've got, say, a health coaching business and they want to create a book series to go with that. Yes, the Book Boss Academy is for that, but my heart is with helping you to build a sustainable business and a brilliant income that will just last you years and years to come, and to build a business that you can potentially sell in the future and it forms part of your retirement. That's what the Book Boss Academy is all about. It's helping book publishers to publish multiple books in a strategic and profitable way. Then we've got the Book Boss Self-Publishing Mastery Program. And in that program, I help you to build a brand. And I'm going to show you some brands and maybe show you some book series as well when I share my screen after I've finished the slides. So you know the difference between self-publishing a load of books and building a brand and what that actually looks like. Let's just let Amanda in. Hopefully that's worked. Okay, so this is about having a massive, great big reset and a mindset shift as well. It's not a hype session. We are resetting, ready for 2026. So I deliberately scheduled this session before the year ends because I want you to get your brains and your thinking excited about the year to come. And it's not because Q4 isn't important. Hopefully we're getting those Christmas sales in now. And if we're not, by God, we're going to be getting them next year because we're going to be really thinking about that way ahead of time. The sales you get in Christmas are going to be the most sales you ever get as a book publisher. I certainly have like 4x'd my income already, and we're only mid-December. But the biggest publishing wins don't start in November or December. They start with the decisions that you make quietly, strategically, early on, and on purpose. Q4 is the big harvest, and we now need to plan for what we're going to be doing in 2026. Now, I watched a program, I don't know if anybody saw it, I think it was live, it was last night. It was about a company called Hotel Chocolat. Does everybody know that business, that chocolate company? They have got beautiful stores throughout the UK. I don't know if they're international. But it's a beautiful chocolate brand, and I would say it's the most popular one now here in the UK. When I was a kid, it used to be Thornton's, and everybody went to Thornton's, and that was like the posh chocolate shop that everybody went to. And then they seemed to change their demographic or their customer base, and their chocolates went cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And now you find those chocolates in the local supermarkets. I'm sure they're doing very well still, but in its place seems to be Hotel Chocolat, which is really going for the premium, high-end, handmade, beautiful chocolates in all sorts of shapes and sizes and flavors. Anyway, the reason why I mentioned them is that I watched a program on television last night, and they are planning their Christmas wreaths. They have a Christmas wreath made of chocolate, and it's like a centerpiece for the Christmas table, and they might put some things in the center of it, and it's pure chocolate wreath. And they're planning what the chocolate wreath is going to look like for 2026 Christmas. And they're actually making the chocolate wreaths in February, ready for next Christmas. I didn't know chocolate lasted that long. It's obvious now, isn't it? Because it's made of sugar. But yeah, they're going to be literally making Christmas wreaths in February, ready for the Christmas, and planning out all their marketing and strategy and how they're going to get it out to the customers and getting their orders in well before, summer. So they've done all that planning and that strategy, and that's a big, massive, successful company. And most of us as book publishers were like, da, 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 what should I do now? I'll take 3 months to do one colouring book. And da, 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 right, what should I do now? Oh, I'm going to sell that book that I've made. And then before you know it, a whole year has gone and we've got like 2 books. I don't want that for anybody here because it's just a waste of time, isn't it? We need to slow down in order to speed up, but get that momentum building. Okay, so the problem with most publishing plans, and this is why most people stay stuck, most publishing plans, and my own included in the past, they sound like this. I'm going to publish more next year. I'm going to be more consistent. Does this sound familiar? I'm going to see what's trending. All of that sounds really fine, but it is hugely vague when you really look at it. I've said this before. Oh, I'm going to post more consistently. I'm going to post every day and all this. It is vague, and vagueness creates overwhelm, a feeling of overwhelm and hesitation. And hesitation creates inconsistency. And inconsistency kills your momentum. And then you feel like a failure because you feel like you've not done what you promised that you was going to do at the beginning of the year. And then we just end up in this self-destructive loop, and we don't want that. So if every book stands alone and it's not part of a bigger strategic plan, then every book has to fight for its life. And that is not building a business, is it? So the hobbyist versus the publisher, what we want to become is a serious self-publisher in 2026. Hobbyist thinking is very different to publisher thinking. A hobbyist will ask, what book should I make next? A publisher asks, what system am I building? Hobbyists, they publish books, they might publish a few, and they usually take a long time to create each one. But publishers are building catalogues. And Amazon, whether we like it or not, I've really noticed it in the last 6 months especially, Amazon loves a good catalogue. If your book is a part of a catalogue or a series, a catalogue is kind of a big series, then Amazon will say, oh, we also recommend this, and this book because you bought this book. And then you'll get emails saying you bought this book. This author actually has this, and this one also available. And they're promoting your other books for you whilst you are creating your next genius book that's part of this bigger picture, this bigger plan. So the big shift for 2026 is not about doing more. It's not about doing more. It's not about spinning all those plates. It's not trying to force sales on books, because then if you create another book, you're going to have to force sales on that second book. And then if you create a third book, you're then trying to post about all three and you're forcing sales on all three. And that would be an absolute nightmare. You're going to tap out. I suppose you could get to a point where you're forcing sales on all these books and then maybe you're getting enough royalties to pay an assistant. So I'm not saying that wouldn't work at all, but it's not very enjoyable to live that life. Thinking bigger doesn't mean more chaos. It doesn't mean more niches. It doesn't mean more burnout. Some people are scared to think bigger because they think it means doing more. But actually, thinking bigger means that you have to make fewer decisions. Thinking bigger means that you have got pure clarity, crystal clarity on what we're doing. Thinking bigger means your books are working together and they're selling each other instead of competing for your energy, competing for your time, competing against each other, and you're trying to market each one individually. The real opportunity ahead and what Amazon actually rewards, and I'm going to share with you the Book Boss Publishing Blueprint in a minute, and it's brand new as well, so I'm really excited about that. So what we see that Amazon rewards isn't effort. There's lots of book publishers I know have published hundreds of books even and aren't getting hardly any sales. But I think, they're really not learning of what is selling and really looking strategically at what they're doing. And there's a lot of people like that who are just going, another one, another one, another one. It doesn't reward effort. It rewards structure. It rewards clear niches with really clear audiences, really clear customers. It rewards recognizable formats, book covers, congruent book covers that look a part of each other, that belong together. I'll show you some of those in a minute. I know I've shown some in the past. It rewards repeat buyers, connected books for sure. If Amazon knows lots of people are buying one book and there's some books connected, well, of course it's going to promote your other ones because Amazon wants to make money too. One great book is nice, but a well-planned catalogue is way more powerful. So I'm now introducing the blueprint. This is the 2026 Book Boss Blueprint, and I'm going to be hammering this into my master's students. So this is kind of a little bit of a sneak peek into what we're going to be doing very much in the master's program. But you guys can also do it as well if you're in the academy. So this is the framework that I want you to use going into 2026. When I started my publishing business, just this February, just gone, so it's not that long ago, I thought, well, I'm going to create different books to see what I'm good at and to see what I like and to see what is selling. And that's great. And that has worked successfully for me because as soon as I saw what was selling, I then did more of those books. But I would say that I wasted 3 to 4 months doing it that way. I don't regret doing it that way because I've learned what I should have done if I was to restart over again. And I wouldn't be able to teach that if I'd done it the right way in the first place. But I was doing willy-nilly. One minute I was doing a book for a child, the next minute it was for seniors. I was just hopping around all over the place. And I wish I'd have at least chosen a certain type of customer. For example, seniors. I could have done, senior puzzle books, murder mystery, criminal, where you solve the crime, activity books. I could have just stayed with one particular customer and that would have made a lot more sense. You don't have to plan an exact brand or build a brand, but I wish I'd at least have chosen a certain type of customer right from the beginning. I think I'd be a lot more ahead of where I am right now if I'd have done it that way. So I'm introducing the Book Boss Blueprint, and this is a framework to get you moving in 2026. It removes overwhelm, it stops you guessing, and it makes your publishing decisions calmer and faster and gets you out of that feeling of overwhelm. So this is what I call the Book Boss Publishing Stack. Think of a stack of pancakes. Every strong catalogue has 3 different types of books, and I never really thought about it like this before until I had a good old chat with ChatGPT. Like, how can I get people being more successful more quickly and faster as my students in the Book Boss Academy? And a lot of chattings, probably had 2 hours of chatting with ChatGPT, but we separated the books out into 3 different categories. One category is to have foundational books. The second category is to have growth books. And the third category is to have visibility books. And this is where you can get your notepad and your pen and write down those 3 things so you don't have to watch this training again. There's no workbook to go with this training because really that's the main concept here. So you want to have a strategic plan for 2026. You want to separate your books as part of your plan into foundation books, growth books, and visibility books. And ideally, in an ideal world, at the beginning of growing your self-publishing business, you're going to have mainly one demographic of customer, ideally. It doesn't work that way for everyone. For example, Wendy here has done like a book series, and some of them are for seniors, grandma and granddad, mum and dad. It's a little bit different for those kinds of books, but we need to really think about, well, what makes sense for our businesses moving forwards. So I want you to separate your books into these 3 categories, ready for your plan for 2026. So not every book has the same job, is what I've discovered. In fact, Christy posted in our academy over the weekend. I need to reply to her still, but she found a children's book for $3, a published, real paperback. And she was like, why is somebody publishing a book for $3? How can that possibly make any sense? Basically the author has not got any royalties. But that's what we would call a growth book. If you want to grow your business, build your email list, get brand recognition, that publishers realize, okay, this book isn't going to make me any money, but I know it's going to be really popular and it's going to get lots of sales. This book is going to be my growth book, And that will get Amazon to recommend other books that I've created. And those other books are then going to make me money. And sometimes having a growth book like that might bring in 10,000 customers. And those 10,000 customers are going to get emails about your other books. And in the long term, you make a lot more royalties than if you had to run a load of ads. It's kind of instead of ads, just having a really low cost book. So we're going to separate our plan for 2026. We're going to have a big plan. We're going to decide who it's for. We're going to separate our books into foundation books, growth books, and visibility books. So what's a foundation book? This is a reliable, evergreen, steady seller. So it could be, if it's colouring books, it might be cute animals colouring books. Everybody loves cute animals, cute kawaii animals. Everyone loves colouring in cute kawaii animals. That would be your reliable, evergreen, forever, steady seller. And everybody has loved cute animals forever, since the beginning of time, probably. So these are your anchors. They're not flashy. They're not trendy. They are books that people are searching for again and again. It could be the big book of word search, the extra large print, ultimate word search puzzle book. Those kinds of books you'll see sell really well year after year after year after year. Sure, a lot of time and effort and energy went into creating it, but it's a regular foundational seller. These books stabilize your income and they increase your confidence, and they also give you royalties that you can reinvest back into ads if you want to, or reinvest back into getting social media help if you want to, if it makes sense. So those are your foundation books. You could think about right now, what could be a foundation book that you could create? What are you trying to build for 2026? What could be your long-term steady bestseller that never goes out of popularity? What could be a foundational book for you? And you can have a chat with ChatGPT about these things and say, these are the kinds of books I'm creating. This is who I want to create them for, and have a chat with ChatGPT about that. You can also do some research on what kind of foundational books are selling and making good sales. But unless you spend that time doing that work, then we're going to end up starting 2026 with no plan, with no goal, with no big vision. And then we're going to feel uncertain and overwhelmed. That's where the overwhelm then comes in. So then we've got your growth books. These are series, spin-off, depth, growth books turn one buyer into many. This is exactly like the one Christy was pointing at. It doesn't have to be $3. You don't have to make like practically no royalties. You might make $1 or $1.50, or you might make $2 or $3. But they reward loyalty. They build momentum for your business. This is where real catalogue power starts to show up. And I do recommend that you have a few very popular books at a lower price just to get those people in and visibility for your book brand. But we don't want to be on like a race to the bottom. Don't know if anybody's heard of that, where everybody races and puts their prices lower and lower and lower, and before you know it, nobody's making any money. So those are your growth books. And then the next thing, and I love these ones, and that's your visibility books. So I have just published like a K-pop book. My daughter is massively into K-pop, and this is definitely a trend book, a discovery book, a traffic book. Because it's a popular trend, I'm not having to put the price really low. Although if I did, I would probably get my book ranked really high in that category. So I might think about doing that. But these books attract attention. They might go viral on TikTok, seasonal spikes. You might do seasonal book, social media moments, cozy, comfy. Or it might be, the opposite of that and be really horrible and, disgusting. their job isn't to do everything. Their job is to really introduce people to your world. So when it's a trending book, people are going to tag people, share it, all things like that. So keep your eyes open up for trends over the Christmas period and trends that are coming through into 2026 for your visibility books. And the most important rule is that every book should earn its place and be part of your bigger vision and your wider picture. In 2026, we stop publishing books just because. Every book earns its place in your catalogue. You don't need more ideas. You get way too many ideas than how fast we can go at creating these things. But you need to make better decisions and more strategic decisions. So your 2026 reset questions, ask yourselves, what lane are you parking yourself and staying in? Even if you've got ADHD like me, what lane are you going to stay in 2026 so that you can really get out of that comfort zone of not getting anywhere? The comfort zone of I'm just kind of staying stuck kind of where I am. No, we're going to say no to those mind gremlins and go, no, I'm going in this lane and I'm going to move forward and build something serious and build something real. Ask yourself, what formats are you focusing on? Ask yourself, who's your ideal customer? Who's going to be your ideal audience in 2026? What are you really drawn to? What really appeals? And really think about how you're going to create your growth books, your visibility books, and the other books. What was the other one? Growth, visibility, and foundation books. But then also ask yourself, what are you not doing anymore? This is the key question. What am I not doing anymore? Let me know in the chat the answer to that one. It's harder to plan your books on a quick 45-minute session with me right now. But what we can do is put a line in the sand and say what we are not doing anymore. For me, I'm not trying to build 12 brands anymore. I'm going to focus on one. That's mine. And I'm putting it out there right now to you. You all heard me. I am focusing on building one main brand, the one that lights me up the most. What am I not doing anymore? Starting books and putting them down because I'm going to be more strategic. Over this year, I've started way too many books and put them down and got distracted, sent a book to a ghostwriter. I spent a lot of money on ghostwriters. I would rather be creating my own medium content books. That's what I'm not going to be doing anymore. As much anyway. I just wanted to build some momentum for 2025. Clarity doesn't come from adding things in. It comes from choosing. It comes from deciding, what am I not doing anymore? What does 2026 look like? What's my bigger vision, my bigger strategy? What are my foundation books, my growth books, and my visibility books going to be? And it's about staying in that lane and moving and staying the course in that lane. If you've already got any books that are selling, that's a big indicator of what lane you should be staying in 2026. Looking at your catalogue that you've got already and going, okay, what books are selling the best? Putting them in order of bestsellers down to the ones that are getting dribs and drabs. And then going, what are these books got in common? Are these books all kind of for the same demographic of person, the same ideal audience, the same customer base? What can we see that fits together, that works together as part of a bigger brand right here when I look at what I've done? And you're going to have such an amazing 2026 if you think like this. We want to move into calm and away from the chaos. Even if you've got ADHD and if you love the chaos a little part of me loves the chaos. But publishing ideally should feel boringly consistent. You know what's coming next, you know what you're doing next. I believe we should be looking at trying to get Amazon algorithmic organic sales. above anything else, above thinking about A plus content, running ads, social media marketing. I believe we should have the blinkers on and be really looking at getting to that point first. It should only take 3 months to get to that point. If publishing feels frantic and you're feeling overwhelmed and lacking clarity, then something is off, because calm systems outperform chaotic motivation anytime. Realistic doesn't mean small, so you can think big and you can stay sane. I get really excited when people are thinking big and are planning their overall bigger picture and their overall bigger vision. Big doesn't mean impossible. You can do this. It means intentional, and intentional beats ambitious without structure every single time. I know a guy, he published like, was it 1,000 books? He's from Romania. He's got a YouTube channel. I actually forgotten his name. And but he was just like so wanting to get the money and wanting to get sales that he didn't think about any bigger strategy. He had no strategy. He was just like making book after book after book after book, and really didn't get very many sales after all of that publishing. He did after 1,000, but then really stopped to think about, well, actually, what is his strategy? Who is his customer? What are his, visibility books, his growth books, his foundation books? He doesn't put them into those categories, but you can really see that he's gone in that direction now. Your 2026 decision moment. This is the moment that matters. 2026 doesn't need you to work harder. It needs it needs you to decide who you are being as a publisher. I want you to decide, I am a book publisher and I am building a book publishing business. I'm building something for the future that can sustain me for the future. I'm building something that will give me peace of mind and freedom. And the best way to do that is to have a clear vision and a clear strategy. So one final reframe is that hobbyists hope, but publishers actually plan. I really hope that this session has made you think about having a serious plan for 2026. Hope is lovely. Flying by the seat of your pants is fun and exciting, but planning is really, really powerful. And you can still be excited about your books and create books that you love and have that creativity, but also plan and be strategic. Sometimes if you've got a brain like mine, you think, oh, if I'm doing a plan, that's boring and that's going to ruin it all. And it doesn't have to. And I've realized that this year. 2026 doesn't need more ideas from you. It needs decisions. And that's exactly what we are doing today. We are deciding. We're putting a line in the sand and deciding to get really serious about this business that we're building. I just want to show you like a little book brand that I came across. Is it here? Just to give you a little bit of inspiration. Oh, let me see. A little tiger. Can you see my Instagram there? Yeah. Yeah, little tiger books. Just something for you to see is what I'm talking about. Little Tiger Books is a Little Tiger children's book brand. It's now got 72.7k followers. This is their Instagram handle. But you can see that they've parked themselves in a lane of children's books. And it's a good lane to be in. A lot of parents buy books for their children. They don't really want them being on the iPad and social media and watching TV all day. So it's a really great customer base to be aiming the books at. And what I love about this is you can see exactly how easy it is to build what they have built. They're just really thinking about what books do children like right now? What could be our low cost books? What can be our foundational books? What can be our growth books? And what can be our trending books? You've got here Squirrel. Where's that one? Squirrel and Bird would be a foundational book. You know, it's one that is timeless, isn't it? Whereas maybe some others are a little bit more um trending, like these ones here. What's that? Guardian's New Moon, Elves on Strike. Um, what else have we got? This one here. So you can see the ones that are a little bit more trendy, the ones that are a little bit more timeless. And then when you look at the whole catalogue, you can also see the ones that they're using as a growth book. And what I love about this is that they've got a really cool Linktree linker. And this is really low cost. And what Linktree allows you to do now is have a shop as part of your Linktree. And your shop, so you see this little toggle button here at the top of the Linktree. So they've got their little tiger brand, a creatively led publisher of inspiring books for children and young people. They've got all the links to go to the shop, to browse the books, to sign up for the newsletter. Really easy peasy to create something like this. And then you toggle across and they put their best sellers here in the shop. Now, I personally would put a photo of the book where you can see the whole book inside these thumbnails. Whereas they're a little bit cut off, aren't they? So I'd probably have the book in a little frame like you have in the Amazon thumbnail. But you can showcase a lot of your books here by toggling into shop. You wouldn't want to showcase them all if you've got like 200 books, but it's probably the most trending ones, the best sellers, the ones that are giving them the most growth. Those sorts of books they're going to put into different categories. Here they've got the little tiny kids in a category, the middle-aged children, middle-aged being 8-ish, you know, and their teens. So they've put them into different categories here, 5 to 7, 9 to 12, and then the youths and the teens. So I just wanted to show you that so you can see what we're trying to build here and what we're trying to do here in the Book Boss Academy. Sometimes it's hard to see the end game, the overall bigger picture, the overall vision. It's hard to see it when you're at the beginning. But that is what we're trying to create, that little tiger. And there are thousands and thousands of other little book publishers like that, all of whom are successful. When they make a decision to build a proper brand, they are successful. You cannot not succeed when you just keep going with building a book brand. That's what's really so exciting about what we're trying to do. Loads of people, they publish one book and another book and it didn't sell. I tried to post it on social media, I got 2 sales and then give up. But what's the point in that? I want you to build something bigger and have this bigger vision for 2026. Seriously, it's just going to take you 6 to 12 months to get there, to get to that place where little tiger is even. You could get there in 12 months. How amazing will you feel in 12 months' time, sat at this call with me in 12 months and having a book brand like that little tiger one? Maybe yours is for women or for seniors, you know, whatever, diabetics, whoever it is, you decide. But you can have that in 12 months' time. All you've got to do is make that decision and make a plan over the Christmas period. What are your foundation books? What are your growth books? What are your visibility books? What is your plan for the next 3, 6, 12 months? Okay, that's me off my soapbox now. Does anybody have anything to say? Any questions? Anything? Anything? Or what have you decided not to do anymore? Let me look in the comments, see if anybody actually answered that question. Um, Gosh, there's lots of comments. Production line, style of batching for bigger productivity, each activity level. Yes to catalogues. Cindy says, one of my 2026 goals is to create books that relate to each other as a natural progression for customers to buy. Yeah, that's actually what Pam is doing, aren't you, Pam? Is creating like a whole book series for each month for the 12 months for children. Nora watched a similar interview as my Hotel Chocolat program. I was gobsmacked that they make Christmas wreaths in February. I was really gobsmacked about that. Intentional publishing. Yeah, what is a catalogue? It is like your whole book, all your book series in what? It's like, has anybody seen like a fashion catalogue that used to come through the door as kids? It's like that. You want a whole catalogue of books that make sense. So, for example, Brain Games is a really brilliant book publisher that I mention a lot over the last year. They've got a whole catalogue of books, but they're all about thinking and thought. So they might have Sudoku and puzzles, and they've got like crime solving books and murder mystery. And well, anyway, they've got hundreds and hundreds of books, all under the theme of brain games and training the brain. So then they've not just got a series, they might have a series that's criminals solutions, like solve the crimes, 1 to 5, volume 1 to 5, solve the crimes. That's the series. Their catalogue is their whole catalogue that is specifically aimed at people wanting to do brain games and puzzle books. That's their catalogue. Right, Emily's going to stop the publishing to publish, I think. Is that right? Yeah. Any more that you're not going to do anymore? I've got so many bad habits. Um, Wendy, no more kids' books. Started with Would You Rather. They are crap, although one sold the other day. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them sell really, really well. Claudia's focusing on one brand. That's brilliant. You're in your lane and you're not coming off it. So that's really good. Yeah, Lainey's going to turn it into a big plan. Oh no, that's Claudia, turning it into a big plan for 2026. Amanda says, I love non-fiction, colouring books and everything, calm mind and women. So yeah, focusing on books for them first. Also love teen books. Hard to choose between the two, as teen girls also need help with emotional intelligence and sparkle. So we'll redo research. Well, we saw that little tiger brand there, who is very much creating books in different categories of ages of children. But I get what you mean of how does that work with women and a book brand that is for teens as well. But I've seen book brands focusing on teens and adults. So maybe you won't focus on tiny little kids for now. You know, most book publishing brands and businesses, they'll focus on one demographic or one customer base and then expand to another one and then another one over time, rather than doing one for them and one for them and one for them. You're not going to get repeat customers as much by scattering it out so much. Emily, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I want to say to Amanda, I can imagine that the women who go for calm and mindfulness and self-esteem and things like that, they are an automatic buyer of the books for their daughters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
that's
right, because that's me as well.
Yeah,
But
I don't have the
my
daughter,
daughters
but I have a
like retro. They like
goddaughter.
80s stuff. So
Mm.
I really like the 80s theme. So if I can tie that in, because my children go, "Oh, mum, that's so 80s," or "That's so 2000s." You know, makes you
yeah,
feel old, but they like the retro 80s feel. So if I can combine that with my brand, which is Sparkle Planet Studio, which I bought the domain name for right after our call on Friday. So I've got it. Yeah.
yay!
Sparkle
Oh,
Planet
well done.
Studio. So I think it'll fit under there, but I'm like you. I just have to start so many things. So I've got to just be on that
Yeah,
one brand to start with, one
yeah.
woman between 40 and 65, and just not veer from that. And just again, like you said, Abby, all using all that research to figure out what is selling best for that age category, because that's the person I want to serve,
Yes.
and then find those juicy spots.
That's it. What is selling best for that category? That's the most strategic way to build your first 10 books. I wish I'd have done that in the beginning, but I didn't. I was just like, oh, I can create a book like that, and then create a book like that. And oh, I can do like a notebook like that. And it was just all haphazard, willy-nilly. And then I got to book 22, and then I started to realize I need to be a little bit more strategic here. But yeah, it took me 22 books to realize that. Julie says I've been focusing on fiction. Brilliant, Julie. And fiction books, yeah, they actually usually sell better than non-fiction. It's really hard to teach fiction though. You've either got story and creativity as skill or not. I think it's hard to just do it using AI tools. People are doing that though now. Doing well, going to continue with it, but has got 3 pen names and a non-fiction brand in mind. Really excited about. Julie's going to stop procrastinating and get on with it. I still have some learning to do with the programs. I would like to produce a book for my granddaughter just because I think that's really cute, isn't it? I created a book for my hairdresser of baby names. Baby name word search. She absolutely loved it, and I dedicated it to her in the book cover as well. So yeah, brilliant. Okay, I really want you to think about what you're not going to do anymore. Really think about what you are going to do moving forwards. And I really hope and pray that you can take on board this idea of you just creating your books for your series and for your brand rather than trying to do everything for now, trying to post on TikTok and post on social media and trying to spin all of those plates. Yeah, other programs and other coaches will tell you to do all of those things and run ads. But you know, how realistic is that when you also need to be working on your next book? I think it is much better for you to get your first 20 to 30 books created. If one is starting to sell, sure, you know, this is what Sue has done. She's started to put some ads onto a book that was already making a few organic sales and is now getting some more sales on that. That is an indication that you can do that. But what I want you to all realize is that your first books are going to be a bit crap for all of us, even with the best training in the world, which we've obviously got here. But now at least we've got ideogram, haven't we? So we can create brilliant book covers, because that was, I think, the biggest sticking point for everybody here in the whole of this year. We had got AI tools, but they were still quite clunky to use them. But I think using ideogram is going to really help everybody. But yeah, have that bigger vision and that bigger picture and choose who do you want your customer to be for the first 3 to 6 months of 2026. And then have a chat with ChatGPT, do some research. What are those people buying the most books of? And how can you come in and make a book like that or even better? You know, I talk about getting the bestsellers and putting a different spin on it. There's a bestseller for boys, amazing facts. You could do it for girls. You could do it for whoever. It's about you putting your unique spin on best-selling books and something that then makes sense as a part of your overall vision, your overall picture, your overall strategy and your brand. Have a chat with ChatGPT about what could be your visibility books, what could be your foundational books, what could be your growth books. And then you'll feel really confident going into 2026 with what you're actually meant to be doing. Those of you in the mastery program, I'm making you also do a website, a link tree just like that one, having a freebie, getting people on your email list. We're just doing a little bit more over there. So be prepared to have me cracking the whip for those things as well. I've actually got an amazing checklist to share with you all in today's final session of 2025. So you're going to go through that checklist over the Christmas period. Amanda says, with ideogram, the cover goes public unless on a paid package. Yeah. See, yeah, I'll need to look into that. It's an interesting one because we're asking it to do 4 and then another 4 and then reiterations. And then before you know it, we've got 26 that have gone public, haven't you? But when I use it, I always make changes or I use a different font or I'm putting the font from one, removing the background and putting it onto the images of another one. I've never used it and just used the thing that it's created, but it's important thing for you to think about. But do you think somebody would then, how would they find it publicly?
I don't know. I just went into ChatGPT and asked it because I
Yeah.
was in another group and they said, "Oh, remember with ideogram, everything is public." So ChatGPT said, "Don't put anything that's your proprietary rights or ideas that you're definitely going to run with in totality because it does pop up in the feed. Apparently, that's what
Yeah, I
ChatGPT
think
said.
Midjourney is the same as that. So you can go
Yeah,
into like their feed and you can scroll down and see everybody else's creations. Um, yeah, I don't really know. I think things like that are better not to hold us back at this stage and be
yeah, I
things that
get
we
that.
think about more later on. But yeah, for me, when I'm using it, I put different things together and I always do my final version in Canva, which is usually different to the bits and pieces that I've done on Ideogram and Artistly and Dali and Nano. Oh, we've got the cutest dog ever, Lynn. Oh, it's like a real teddy. That is like the Christmas dog. What is it? Santa paws. You've got Santa paws, the real dog.
She's a Labradoodle named Ruby. Say hi.
Oh, what a cutie patootie.
Don't you think she looks like me? We look alike, right?
Do you know what? I think if she had the glasses on, I wouldn't be able to tell who's who. I'm just kidding with you. But yeah, she's got the same colour hair, hasn't she? They say dogs and owners look alike. Although my husband doesn't like that when he's walking our chihuahua. So funny. Julie says, even on the paid version, Midjourney shows your creatives to the whole world. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, is somebody going to then take that and create the book that you've already created? If we published it first, surely that's our creation then, isn't it? And if anyone comes in after that date, that was our intellectual property. So, but I imagine all these kinds of issues are going to become bigger and bigger and bigger over the next sort of 5 years. But ideally, we want to create something maybe and piece it together in Canva if you possibly can. But at least Ideogram makes it accessible for everybody to create great book covers, which is what we just weren't getting before. And if you don't get a great book cover, we don't get any sales at all. So, yeah. I personally think a lot of book designers that you pay in Fiverr and 99 Designs also use like Midjourney and Ideogram. So, yeah. How do you actually know that they have sat down and spent however long designing it uniquely in Adobe? You don't know that for sure, do you?
Abby, I haven't
Yeah.
used Artistly yet. What's the difference between Artistly and say Ideogram or Nano Banana now?
I don't know what the difference is. The difference is the layout and the way that you use it. Artistly can do 10, say you wanted a cute kawaii donut and you want it in black and white for a colouring book. Artistly is really great at that and will give you 10 cute kawaii donuts and immediately you pick the one that you think is the cutest and the most appropriate. So it's quick, it's fast, it's really good at very simple graphics like that. Angela, who's not here, she's in Australia, was saying she uses it also for children's books and it can create a consistent character. Um, I can't get it to create a really decent book cover. I think Ideogram is better at that. And Artistly is like $47 for the whole year or for life even. It's for life, so it's a fairly good price. But I think it is great if you're doing children's colouring books or activity books, things like that. And I like the fact that it will create 10 things at once. So it's very fast. But yeah, the more intricate designs and stuff I think are better in Nano and Ideogram. But Angela did a book cover. I think she put it in the group chat on Friday or Thursday, and that was really quite good quality. So yeah, I think it's about learning the AI tool that you like the most and learning how to use it to the most optimum way. But so far, I've managed to get really cute little designs from it. And you don't get to see everybody else's designs as well, so maybe that's a plus from Artistly. Yeah. Herbie looks like Vanna. Julie says, I didn't mind really, but I've now changed to free pick, which I'm enjoying so far. Access to different programs. Yeah, you get these programs as well where you can use lots and lots of different AI tools as part of the program. I'm in something called fal.ai, and that seems to have access to, is it called Kling? Kling and something else and Midjourney, and you get access to different things. And I think Jodie was telling us about something that gave you access to a few different things as well. But we just need to decide, what book am I doing and what tool do I need to create this book the fastest. What I've not talked about today is workflows. So I'll probably do another session on workflows, but you want to get into the rhythm of having a speedy workflow without feeling that you're hustling or that you're rushing or that you're stressed. But we want that workflow to be really fluid and really clear about how we're creating these books. And this is another reason why not to try to create too many different types of books, because as Emily knows, me and Emily have been batting our heads together, haven't we, with sometimes with a colouring book and trying to get it right. But imagine trying to work out like a pixelated colouring book. And then after doing all of that working out, which probably took a week to work out how to do it, then going, all right, I'm going to go and do this like paint by numbers one next, and trying to work out then how to do that. So I think if we can get really good at creating one type of book, then try and expand the series on that type before then going on to like creating another series. Rather than flitting around again, this is part of your overall vision and your strategy for 2026. We also need to think about what is the most time productive, the most cost productive. We don't want to be paying for 11 different AI tools. So just try and be strategic and think about one type of book that you are able to create. I tried to create a monochrome book and it took me ages, and then I gave up in the end. It's better to create a book series of types of books that you can actually create, you can actually do, and you don't need the most difficult design tools in the world in order to create them. Okay, I've gone over time. Sorry, I suppose we started 5 or 6 minutes late, so that's exactly an hour. What I want to say is have an amazing Christmas and New Year. You will see me in the group and in the chat, so I'm not going to just completely disappear, but I am going to be working hard and putting our last module out this week, and then doing a bit of the overhaul of the classroom over Christmas. And then we are going to start 2026 with a bang. And we're all going to be, I really want you to create a serious book publishing business. No more dabbling, no more fluffing around. We're going to be in our lane, like Claudia, in our lane, creating something big and something for the long term, something that we can be proud of. It's so easy to get distracted in the online space and start this and start that and have little bits of this, that, and the other that you started to build and then feel like a failure. But I want us in 2026 to build something solid, to build something that makes sense, to build something like that little tiger that people can click on. And that is your business. That is your brand. That is what you are building. You can be really proud of yourself by this time next year that you built something real and solid for you and your family and for your future. Okay, have an amazing Christmas. A happy New Year. Don't get too drunk. And I'll see you the first Monday of January is Monday the 5th. So we'll have our next masterclass on Monday the 5th. Okay, everyone. Bye. Master's students, I'll see you at 6. Thank you. Merry Christmas.